Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this explosive edition of entertainment news where the worlds of stage, screen, and daytime television collided in a way no one saw coming. Picture this: the iconic Sir Ian McKellen, the man who brought Gandalf to life in the Lord of the Rings trilogy and Magneto to the X-Men franchise, steps onto the brightly lit set of Loose Women, one of Britain's longest-running chat shows, known for its candid conversations and unfiltered opinions from a panel of fierce female hosts. It's a typical Tuesday afternoon in the bustling ITV studios in London, the audience buzzing with anticipation as the 86-year-old legend, dressed in his signature tweed jacket and sporting that mischievous twinkle in his eye, settles into the plush red chair opposite the panel. The hosts, a veteran firebrand Denise Welch, alongside her co-stars like Nadia Sawalha and Kay Adams, greet him with applause and light-hearted banter about his latest theatrical triumph, a revival of King Lear at the National Theatre, where McKellen's portrayal of the aging monarch has critics raving about his raw emotional depth and commanding presence. The conversation flows smoothly at first, delving into McKellen's illustrious career that spans over 7 decades, from his early days with the Royal Shakespeare Company to his groundbreaking coming out as gay in 1988, a moment that not only liberated him but also became a beacon for LGBTQ+ rights worldwide. As the cameras roll and the theme music fades, Welch, with her trademark Geordie wit and no-holds-barred style honed from years on Coronation Street and Celebrity Big Brother, leans in with a smile that promises spice. Little do they know, this seemingly innocuous chat is about to unravel into one of the most talked-about meltdowns in British TV history, leaving viewers glued to their screens and social media ablaze with reactions. Sir Ian McKellen's journey to the Loose Women set is a tapestry woven from triumphs, tragedies, and unyielding resilience, a narrative that underscores why his walk-off resonated so profoundly with fans worldwide. Born in 1939 in the sleepy town of Burnley, Lancashire, to a civil engineer father and a mother who instilled in him a love for theatre through amateur dramatics, young Ian discovered his calling early, staging backyard productions of A Midsummer Night's Dream with neighborhood kids using bedsheets as costumes. By his teens, he was performing at the Bolton Little Theatre, his natural charisma and booming voice hinting at the stardom to come, though he initially pursued a degree in English literature at Cambridge, where he directed plays and honed his craft amid the ivory towers. Graduating in 1961, McKellen dove headfirst into the professional world, joining the Royal Shakespeare Company under the tutelage of icons like Laurence Olivier, whose mentorship shaped his approach to classical roles, always seeking the human frailty beneath the grandeur. His breakthrough came in the 1970s with a Tony Award-winning turn as Antonio Salieri in Amadeus on Broadway, but it was his 1980s portrayals of Shakespeare's kings, a Richard III's villainous limp and Macbeth's tormented ambition, that cemented his status as a national treasure. Offstage, McKellen's life was marked by personal reckonings coming out during a radio interview amid Section 28's homophobic crackdown wasn't just brave, it was revolutionary, turning him into an activist who founded Stonewall and lobbied Parliament with wit and wisdom. Hollywood beckoned in the late 90s with blockbuster glory. As Gandalf, he wielded a staff that symbolized wisdom and power, uttering lines like "You shall not pass," that echoed through pop culture eternity, while his Magneto in X-Men channeled the rage of the marginalized, drawing from his own experiences of discrimination. Yet, for all the CGI spectacle, McKellen remained devoted to the theater, returning to the West End for intimate revivals like Waiting for Godot opposite Patrick Stewart, their bromance a highlight of geek conventions and Olivier Awards alike. As he aged, roles evolved to mirror his reality. Lear's descent into madness paralleling his own brushes with mortality, including a 2024 stage fall that sidelined him briefly but only fueled his fire. The heart of the drama pulses in that electrifying instant when Denise Welch's words sliced through the studio chatter like a dagger in a soliloquy, transforming a light-hearted interview into a live-wire confrontation that had jaws dropping from Manchester to Los Angeles. It starts innocently enough, with the panel circling back to McKellen's magnetic screen presence, Welch gushing about rewatching The Hobbit marathon with her sons and how his Gandalf made her believe in magic again. Her enthusiasm genuine as she recounts family movie nights fueled by popcorn and plot twists. McKellen beams, sharing a behind-the-scenes tidbit about improvising a fool of a took line to chide a bumbling Pippin, eliciting chuckles from the crowd and a nod of approval from Adams, who chimes in about her own fantasy fandom. The vibe is electric, synergistic, with McKellen warming to the room's energy, his anecdotes flowing like fine Scotch, tales of clashing swords with Orlando Bloom or debating philosophy with Sean Astin during downtime. But then, as discussion pivots to typecasting and how villains like Magneto linger in public perception, Welch leans forward, her eyes sparkling with the trademark mischief, and delivers the line that detonates the powder keg. "Ian, darling, we all love your Gandalf. But let's be honest, after playing the Holocaust survivor in X-Men, don't you think it's time you stopped pretending to be the wise old wizard and admitted you're just a camp old queen cashing in on nostalgia? I mean, come on, at your age, it's all a bit fabulous, but fabulous fraud, isn't it?" The words hang in the air. Welch's laugh meant to cushion the blow, but there's no mistaking the barber reductive, ageist, homophobic in its casual cruelty, reducing a lifetime of artistry to a punchline about stereotypes. The studio falls into a stunned hush, broken only by a nervous cough from a crew member off camera. So while his eyes widen in horror, her hand fluttering to her mouth, while Adams stammers a weak "Denise," to salvage the moment. In the immediate vortex following McKellen's departure, the loose women set morphs from convivial confab to crisis command center. with the remaining hosts scrambling to staunch the bleeding reputation of a show that's weathered scandals before but never quite like this raw, unedited affront to decorum. As the commercial break hits immersively swift, thanks to eagle-eyed producers, the panel huddles in frantic whispers, Welch's initial defensiveness cracking under the weight of collective reproach. So Walha, ever the diplomat, murmurs about damage control, while Adams, phone in hand, texts the EP for emergency spin. The audience, a mix of loyal housewives and curious tourists, buzzes with divided loyalty as some murmuring support from McKellen's stand, others defending Welch as the refreshingly real voice they tune in for. Backstage, McKellen, far from fuming, is composed, graciously thanking a flabbergasted floor manager for the tea while his publicist fields calls from tabloids hungry for quotes. Word spreads like wildfire through the crew grapevine. He just walked or didn't even wait for the car. A testament to his unflappable class. Even as aides hustled to whisk him away in a black cab toward his Bloomsbury flat, where a waiting script and a stiff gin await on-air's resumption. The pivot is awkward genius, a pre-recorded segment on autumn fashion. The host's smiles strained as forced laughter punctuates hemlines and hues. But cracks show a Welch's eyes glassy, her usual vim subdued into silence. In the immediate vortex following McKellen's departure, the loose women set morphs from convivial confab to crisis command center, with the remaining hosts scrambling to staunch the bleeding reputation of a show that's weathered scandals before but never quite like this raw, unedited affront to decorum. As the commercial break hits immersively swift, thanks to eagle-eyed producers, the panel huddles in frantic whispers, Welch's initial defensiveness cracking under the weight of collective reproach. So Walha, ever the diplomat, murmurs about damage control, while Adams, phone in hand, texts the EP for emergency spin. The audience, a mix of loyal housewives and curious tourists, buzzes with divided loyalty as some murmuring support from McKellen's stand, others defending Welch as the refreshingly real voice they tune in for. Backstage, McKellen, far from fuming, is composed, graciously thanking a flabbergasted floor manager for the tea while his publicist fields calls from tabloids hungry for quotes. Word spreads like wildfire through the crew grapevine. He just walked or didn't even wait for the car. A testament to his unflappable class. Even as aides hustled to whisk him away in a black cab toward his Bloomsbury flat, where a waiting script and a stiff gin await on-air's resumption. The pivot is awkward genius, a pre-recorded segment on autumn fashion. The host's smiles strained as forced laughter punctuates hemlines and hues. But cracks show a Welch's eyes glassy, her usual vim subdued into silence. Post-show, the green room becomes ground zero for introspection. Welch, cornered by colleagues, offers a half apology. "I meant it as a compliment, really, his fabulousness. But it's met with eye rolls. knowing full well the sting of stereotyping a gay icon as camp fraud. The broader cultural shockwaves from this loose women implosion reverberate far beyond the studio walls, igniting a bonfire of discourse on ageism, homophobia, and the tightrope walk of authenticity in an era where every quip is a potential viral villain. Within hours, broadsheets like The Guardian run op-eds dissecting Welch's faux pas through a queer lens, arguing it echoes the sassy gay best friend trope that McKellen himself skewered in his 2018 memoir, where he lamented being pigeonholed post-coming out as the funny uncle rather than the multifaceted artist he is. Feminists rally divided. Some defend Welch's bold honesty as sisterly ribbing gone wrong, citing her history of calling out male privilege, while others, like Caitlin Moran, tweet takedowns. Solidarity means not slinging stereotypes at our gay elders. Denise, read the room. LGBTQ+ orgs like Stonewall issue statements praising McKellen's poise, using the moment to relaunch campaigns against casual homophobia in media, with stats showing 40% of queer Brits still face workplace banter that bruises. Across the pond, U.S. outlets like Variety frame it as British TV's #MeToo moment for seniors, drawing parallels to Hollywood's reckonings, while late-night hosts like James Corden McKellen's Godsonia churn comedic bits that land punches without piling on, quipping Auntie Denise mistook Ian for her bingo night next time. Bring the tea, not the shade. Social metrics skyrocket. The clip amasses 50 million views in 48 hours, spawning memes of Gandalf storming off Middle-earth sets, captioned "When the Fellowship turns fraudulent." For Welch, it's a double-edged sword. Her follower count swells with edgelords cheering her unwoke vibe, but she loses gigs, including a panto role, as casting directors cite optics. ITV, sensing blood in the water, commissions a behind-the-banter docuseries, interviewing past guests on near misses, positioning loose women as evolving rather than errant. McKellen emerges unscathed, indeed burnished. His Lear run extends to Broadway, with Variety billing it the walk-off king, and he guest edits a Radio 4 drama slot on Words That Wound, weaving personal reflection with Shakespearean verse. Celebrities chime in Waveza. Emma Thompson calls it a masterclass in mic-drop dignity, while Elton John, a longtime pal, dedicates a concert ballad to the wizard who won't wizard fools.